Jody Henrickson is a 17-year-old girl with long dark brown hair, a small build, and she stood 5 foot 3 inches tall. She was last seen wearing a black leather jacket, a black long-sleeve shirt, and blue jeans. Jody was loved very much by her family and friends, and they want to know what happened to her. If you have any information, the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team tip line number is 1-877-551-4448. Anonymous tips can be left with Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. A cash reward of up to $2,000 will be paid for any information which leads to an arrest and charges. Jody Henrickson kissed her mother goodbye and bounded out the door to begin a weekend of camping with friends at Cultus Lake, a popular destination in the Fraser Valley outside of Chilliwack, British Columbia. The problem is, Jody wasn't going to Cultus Lake, she was going the opposite way. Jody was heading to Bowen Island. Bowen is part of the Greater Vancouver area. Jody was planning on meeting up and partying with her ex-boyfriend, a young man that she had a very tumultuous relationship with. Jody's parents, Bob and Nancy Henrickson, knew that Jody seeing Gavin Arnott would have been a very bad idea. In fact, they didn't want her to see him ever, period. You see, Gavin Arnott, a couple of months earlier, had been convicted of assaulting Jody and given a conditional discharge and placed on probation for 18 months. He also had a restraining order to have no contact with Jody whatsoever. This is probably the reason why Jody misled her parents as to where she was really going. When Jody arrived on Bowen Island, it was Friday, June 19th, 2009. There was a party at a young man's place by the name of Doug Harding. Approximately 20 people were there that night, and Jody showed up, and Gavin was already super drunk. He would say that he threw up all over the deck after chugging a Mickey and 12 beer. While cleaning up his mess, he got his pants soaked and staggered out to his father's truck to grab a change of clothes. For some reason, he jumped into the truck and started it up and almost drove into the house. Gavin's friends, Cole and Doug, dragged him out of the truck and duct taped him to a pole to prevent him from driving. After the altercation with Doug hit him in the jaw. A little later, the young men took Gavin and put him to bed just before midnight. Meanwhile, another party was going on at the home of Hope Dallas, Cole's sister, 8 kilometers away in an area known as Leroyville. When Jody saw that Gavin was duct taped to the pole, she headed to the other party at Hope's place before grabbing a ride back to Doug's place and going into the bedroom to wake up Gavin. They left the party after Gavin woke up. Jody and Gavin caught a ride part of the way to Snug Cove and decided to walk over to the rental property that his father was renovating in Leroyville. A guy named Tom Berartin saw Jody and Gavin walking along the road near the elementary school holding hands. It was 4:30 a.m., he recalls, looking at the clock in his truck. Gavin flagged Todd down and asked him if he and Jody could catch a ride to Leroyville, to which Todd replied no, because he was tired and on his way home to sleep because he had to go to Vancouver in the morning. Jody and Gavin then walked down towards Snug Cove, then up 7 hills on Miller Road. Close to the turnoff to Miller's Landing, a young couple spotted Gavin and Jody by the side of the road as they were driving back to make the early ferry at about 6:30 a.m. That was June 20th, 2009. That was the last sighting of Jody Henrickson. On Wednesday, June 24th, Bob and Nancy Henrickson went into the Squamish RCMP and reported Jody as a missing person. Jody hadn't made any contact with her family since the evening of June 19th. Jody and her brother Rob were close and they kept in touch daily, and for her not to keep in contact with him was highly unusual. Jody did have a history of running away, so her family thought that maybe this was the case. But after a few weeks of Jody not showing up, panic had begun to set in. Some of Jody's friends describe her as a very spontaneous person and that Jody would be known to go find adventure with people she would just meet. The RCMP identified Gavin Arnott as a person of interest. After spending 9 hours under interrogation, going over every detail of Jody and his time together on the evening of the 19th and into the early morning of the 20th, the RCMP accused Gavin of killing her and asked Gavin for a polygraph test, to which he refused under the recommendation of his lawyer. Gavin had a very troubled past. In early 2009, his mother and Gavin had a disagreement. The conflict made Gavin pour lighter fluid over himself, and he tried to light it on fire. This got him a trip to the psychiatric ward. Gavin also had a fight with Jody and began to choke her. He wouldn't stop, which caused an intervention from one of his friends. They put Gavin in a headlock and threw him down to the ground. Gavin finally released her, and a week later, Rob, Jody's brother, said that she was black and blue down her arms. Rob tried to talk Jody out of dating Gavin, but she wouldn't listen. Rob thought Gavin was a chronic liar and a little crazy. Rob also thinks that Gavin isn't capable of being a criminal mastermind. He isn't organized and smart enough to hide a body, and he wouldn't have planned to kill her. Randy Arnett, Gavin's father, doesn't believe that his son has anything to do with Jody's disappearance. Gavin admitted that he and Jody got into a fight the night she disappeared, but Gavin insists that he walked away, and that was the last time that he saw her. Derek Sink and Cole Ellis admit that Gavin was out of control the night Jody went missing. Quote, "I've known Gavin my whole life, and I don't think that he would ever do something like that, but at the same time he is a little bit crazy. I wouldn't say crazy, but different." Unquote. Derek Sink, who attended the same party as Arnott, said that Gavin has always been odd. He's a little bit different to start out with, you know, so it's kind of speculation on the whole incident. Corporal David Ritchie of the Squamish RCMP said that Jody met friends and acquaintances at one of the two parties, but some people who attended the house parties were still not cooperating fully with the investigation. And we know that there are people on the island that do have information that we need to speak to. Gavin Arnett was also charged with sexual interference and possession of child pornography for allegedly keeping child photographs of a 14-year-old girl. He was ordered to stay away from minors and from possessing digital photo equipment. There is no record that Jody returned to the mainland. Jody was wearing a black leather jacket, a black long-sleeved shirt, and jeans the night that she disappeared. Family and friends remember Jody fondly as a girl that loved to hang out with friends. Her brother Rob said that Jody would go around town and just hang out with people she knew. She loved to draw. Many of her drawings decorate the family home. Rob said that his mum is taking Jody's disappearance very hard and that Jody's mementos fill the home. Chelsea Armstrong and Tiffany Sweet are two of Jody's closest friends. Both have drawings that Jody created for them. "She drew all the time," said Sweet. "She was always drawing." Both Armstrong and Sweet want people to know more about Jody. Armstrong, Sweet, and Rob said that Jody became friends with a new set of people who lived on Bowen Island once she started dating Gavin, and continued visiting the island after they broke up, despite the fact that there was a restraining order to keep Arnott away from Jody. As the months turned into years, Jody's friends have fond memories of pranks at Halloween time, dressing up. They loved to dress up. One year they dressed up as the Pussycat Dolls. They remember Jody walking her dog Panda, and that she couldn't tell a lie. She liked English but hated math. Jody liked making up nicknames for all her friends. They said how Jody dreamed of the future and that she loved to cook and that she wanted to pursue a career in the culinary arts. Armstrong, Sweet, and Jody were close. Jody wanted Sweet to accompany her to Bowen the weekend that she vanished. She was upset that she couldn't convince her friend to come, so they hugged each other for the last time and away Jody went. Sweet never thought anything of it because Jody was going to Bowen on her own every weekend. The search for Jody was conducted by the Sea to Sky Regional Police Services, utilizing RCMP and Marine Services. The police asking residents to check their rural properties for anything suspicious. Bowen Island is a 20-minute ferry ride from Vancouver, Horseshoe Bay. Police dogs along with North Shore Search and Rescue joined the hunt as well. The search concentrated on Bowen Island after the investigators determined that Jody was last seen there between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Gavin Arnett's mother, Lynn Fedoric, released a statement to several media outlets. Gavin is not a suspect in any crime related to Jody Henrickson, and she never sought a court order to stop him from seeing her. Gavin is a kind, gentle person who has never been convicted of assault or of any other crime. Bless her heart. Jody was adamant about posting on her Facebook account. After the 20th of June, all internet communication stopped cold, which everyone found to be highly unusual. This is not Jody. She always kept in touch. She would always call her best friends and say, "Hey, I'm okay. We just need to know where she is," said the family. There is no surveillance video evidence of Jody leaving Bowen as a foot passenger. although she could have left in a vehicle unseen, but police believe that Jody never left that island. The RCMP are well aware of the troubled relationship between Gavin and Jody. Volunteer searchers combed through backyards on residential properties, and the police helicopter was brought in to map remote trails. The RCMP confirmed that Jody contacted them on April 8th and laid an assault complaint. As a result, Gavin was charged and appeared in court on June 5, 2009 and pled guilty. He was given a term of 18 months, and that term included a no-contact order with Jody, said Corporal Ritchie. Once again, if you have any information, the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team tip line number is 1-877-551-4448. Anonymous tips can be left with Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477, or tips can be shared through solvecrime.ca, and the cash reward of up to $2,000 will be paid for any information which leads to an arrest and charges. Jody Henrickson has been missing for over 12 years, and it's time to bring Jody home. Well, internet friends, what do you think of this case? Do you have any information, or do you have any ideas of what could have happened to Jody Henrickson? If you do, comment below. I'd love to hear what you think.